Greetings everyone, I'm Prince B, coming at you once again with some more Amiibo to unbox. Today we have the Splatoon Recolor Amiibo. And the interesting thing about these are, while it is a recolor, it's one of the ones that I actually didn't really review the originals on. They're right back there. That's because I actually got these right before I started doing my unboxing videos. And they're actually some of the Amiibo that got me really interested in like hardcore collecting these things. So I thought it'd be interesting to go back, take a look at them, and just kind of compare, contrast them with the new counterparts. I did briefly talk about them in a recap episode, but I figure what's the harm in just revisiting them with these guys. So with that said, let's get started. First thing to note about the recolors is they don't really add any new functionality. They function the exact same way as the originals, unlocking the same sets of challenge stages and gear in Splatoon, which a lot of people are really upset about. I'm kind of on the fence. Like, on one hand, it meant that for people who are just kind of like, oh yeah, I want the items or whatever in Splatoon, it's kind of their preference on which ones they want to get. But as far as incentivizing people to just buy the recolors, if they already have these, there's not much there unless you're just collecting the Amiibo to collect them, like I am. So that was kind of unfortunate, and while I obviously haven't confirmed this for myself since they're in the box still, I have heard that when you scan them in to the game, they do have different models than the original ones. Like the orange squid is orange instead of green like that. So I'm guessing there are different chips in these, and Splatoon as a game is set to just recognize them as the Inkling Boy, Inkling Girl, etc. But it does have some little string of code or whatever that recognizes it as a variant and displays the proper model for said variant. And that means in the future, in a sequel or what have you, the inevitable Splatoon, with a 2, there is the chance that these variants may do something different. Whether or not that's the case, I'm not sure. Obviously, I'm not in Nintendo's head, but it is a possibility if these figures do have different chips in them than just the original ones. Even if it's just a minor difference in the coding, the possibility's there. Anyways, actually, let's get to actually opening these guys. And we'll just pull all 3 of them out here, and we'll kind of work our way, starting with the girl. There we go. So starting off, well, both of them are now wielding Tenatech splatter shots instead of the original variants, as denoted by the little Tenatech sticker, which appears to be just paint. In this case, it's not an actual sticker. That's good. I don't want stickers peeling off, but so that's a immediately noticeable difference. And then obviously they are color swaps. That's the most obvious thing. I don't know if I really need to even say that. Other minor things, they did change the outfits, which is good that they didn't just color swap the hair and the ink, which would have been like the easy way to do it. I mean, this is still kind of lazy, but at least they did go to the effort to like kind of change up the outfits a little bit, even if they are pretty much just the color swaps from the game of said outfits. This is just the black version of this white outfit. You know, it's still lazy, but it's a little less lazy, I guess is what I'm getting at. As for the figure itself, I briefly mentioned this in my Amiibo recap video, but the big problem I have with the Inkling Girl, overall it's pretty good, but the big problem I have is this very big seam here. I was hoping they'd kind of rectify that with this version, but it's still there. Uh, I know it's not super noticeable if you're displaying her at the right angle, but it just kind of makes it feel like I'm worried that it might like just snap open or something. It's just such a big seam that it worries me. As for my actual figure itself, I noticed the problem with this one is she has some paint bleeding here, and I think I saw something similar on the boy's leg. Yeah, very minor here, but it is bleeding from his shorts onto his leg. That wasn't a problem I really remembered being a problem. Yeah, it's not really a problem on my other two figures, so that's kind of unfortunate. I don't know if I just got a bad box that just happened to have two paint bleedings at once, but it's sad, I guess. It is pretty minor, but it's still annoying. Overall, though, the girl looks pretty good. I mean, there's not too much to say. It is just a color swap of her. Although, I kind of, I mean, I like this one the best because it's the actual, like, she's the orange Inkling girl is like the mascot of the game. So I do prefer her in that sense to this. But I feel like the ends of the green one's tentacles, I feel like they're a little more vibrant. Like, I feel like this is almost kind of like a translucent. I know it's not, but that's what it kind of appears to be. Whereas this just kind of looks like muddy colored with the orange. So I will say that the recolor, I like that more for the green recolor. But I'd still say the orange Inkling Girl is just better because of the being the icon status. Next up, the orange squid. He was another one where I had a problem with the seams. Very prevalent on the sides, particularly that side. Not as much on the other side, but that seam is just very noticeable. It annoys me quite a bit, more so than the girl. And I do like, I like the green one because it just, I don't know, I think part of it's because I prefer green as a color to orange, but I like having the orange squid because, again, it's like mascot status. It's kind of got the same problems as the orange girl does, where at the bottom of the tentacles where it's supposed to kind of gradient out, it still kind of looks kind of muddy just because of the orange. But the green one doesn't look, the green squid doesn't look as good as the end of the green Inkling Girl's tentacles at the ends either. So I'm gonna say point to the orange squid. I think it just looks a little better. It's got the icon status. Even though I prefer green as a color to orange, gotta say the orange one just, I don't know, it feels more in line with Splatoon. Chalk it up to mascot status. But what I really love about the orange and the squid amiibo, using the ink to make a support stand is still one of my favorite features of the Splatoon amiibo, which you see repeated with Callie and Mary. Overall, that's probably my favorite aspect of the squid amiibo. Lastly, we have the Inkling boy. First off, can I say the shoes, the gold shoes, are kind of, I don't know. I don't like the gold shoes. They're kind of hideous. But the most obvious thing is this is actually kind of cool. It's the first amiibo that's not, or it's the first instance we see of like racial diversity, I guess, in the amiibo, which is obviously one of the drawing aspects of Splatoon, is that you can kind of customize your character however you want. A lot more open-ended than even like Animal Crossing, a game that has a ton of options for character customization. It never really let you choose skin tone before. So seeing that kind of brought to life via the amiibo is really cool. In fact, I think they should have gone that route with the Inkling girl as well, instead of just slapping it on the boy kind of as an afterthought. They should have added that on the girl too, just kind of because we already have the lighter skin toned Inkling girl. It would have been cooler to have it on the boy and the girl, and then the squid. Who knows what color the squid is? It's orange. This is the color. But yeah, so that was a missed opportunity, I feel, but it's still a step in the right direction. I feel like Nintendo's gotten a lot better about that in recent years. Hopefully they can continue down that track. Other than that, like I said, there was the paint bleeding on the leg. Not too much more to say on the on this amiibo. Also, actually, I just noticed that he's got orange eyes, which is interesting. Kind of weird. But other than that, there's not too much to say. Oh, actually, I didn't notice this either. He's got he's wearing a Choco Layer shirt, which isn't a shirt that I'm particularly familiar with in game, but he's got a pattern on the back, whereas the original colored Inkling boy doesn't have that on the back. So I guess they didn't just color swap the clothes either. They actually did look at some of the more fine details on them. Overall, I don't really care too much between these. I'll say that I prefer the original Inkling boy just because of the fact I don't like this guy's shoes. That's really as far as it goes. I don't like those shoes. They're ugly. Although, I do prefer this shade of purple to this shade of blue. So, I mean, I wish he was looking up with his pose. That's the other main thing with him. Overall, that's just my thoughts on the Splatoon recolors, and which ones I prefer from the line now. I'd say these three in the front are the ones that I prefer, and then the rest are back here. Thank you for watching, as always. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a like. And I'll see you guys next time for some more Amiibo content. This is Prince B signing out.